Sapphire Scribe.
Yo, how's it going, bro?
Good.
Yeah, how's it going?
Thank you guys again for an excellent, most productive conversation.
Yeah. I appreciate what you're saying there now, and I appreciate what you said then.
Yeah, I've got a similar ethic with my channel, with my streams and stuff. I host debates as well, so I catch a lot of flack for doing playing the more moderate part.
Yeah, and it's going to be crazy what kind of server this ends up being because Pierce and David go off into other servers like the vegan server and the flat earth group and the atheist server and then bring all these different people with different viewpoints into this area as a melding pot. And so we're but all under the guidance of keep it nice and polite.
Or at least caring. You don't have to be polite every time, but you have to at least care about the other human being to a certain degree. Like, I think there's a time for, as long as everybody's on board for it, or, in the case of, danger and all that shit. But I don't know. I'm also on a kick because I watched a kids program with my kids today, and they were like, you just got to be nice. It's like, yeah, be nice, but like, it's more than just being nice. It's not just about being polite. It's about caring.
That was what I immediately honed in on you guys with, though, is just this, like I said, you guys being genuine and, like, focusing it at the conversation and at people's motivations and stuff, because I talk with all sorts of different characters, and a lot of them can be kind of extreme, and, I just ask them what their actual goals are, right? What are your motivations? What are your actual goals? Because I've had, like, on my live show, I had a conversation with a younger guy, but he was like talking all of this like race realism stuff and Wignat stuff, right? All these talking points. And he literally told me because I have a Hispanic wife that I promote human trafficking. Like he was going like super hard into the deep end, and I just started asking him like fundamental questions about like his upbringing and stuff, and I just learned that he was just like a disenfranchised guy who had like an intellectual bent. So he'd like read into history, read into all these like books, was like very open, to like the book learning stuff. But then he had like a lot of terrible stuff happen that like made him very angry and very bitter.
Yeah, kind of one of the reasons why I don't like debate is kind of the exact kind of the way you described it. Like in a debate, it seems like a lot of the times uh, either party isn't really doing a whole lot of listening. I mean, they're doing some hearing, but they aren't really trying to learn how the other person got to their conclusion. And I think that's so important as a society that we listen and we hear and we really try to understand where the other person the line of thinking, the train that got them from I don't believe to I believe, and what that process is like. I think exploring that is just such a great thing, and I think debate is almost sometimes is kind of the opposite of that. You're hearing it, but not actually understanding it.
And sometimes what can happen with street epistemology, like if like there's been times where I was being interviewed by somebody in street epistemology, and I I at the end of the interview I still had the same opinion, like the same conclusion, that X is wrong or that X is true or whatever. But I discovered through the conversation that I didn't have the best reasons that I could have to support my claim, and that I could have had, if I do more research and come back and get interviewed another time, that I'll have more data backing up my claim, and so that helped me become a better communicator.
I know,
Yeah,
guys.
and like I was saying, it's been a very different experience for me in the Islamic server because most of these guys are coming in asking the questions. They genuinely want to know where our position is and why. And then they just duck out and they go off and they go and do their own research. And that's been a strange experience for me over the last couple of weeks.
Ideology can create blind spots for everybody. It doesn't matter, what your background is or what your personal set of beliefs is. And like when you guys create these kind of discussions and ask the questions that you do, you're not just doing these people a service by helping illumine some of these dark spots in their thinking, but you're also, showing the rest of the world that it's not scary and it's not dangerous to have these kinds of discussions. So I appreciate you guys very much. I really genuinely do. I know I've said it several times.
Are you guys like worried about like platforming people like that may have like I don't know, like some harmful viewpoints at any point, or no? Like, because the other person mentioned that there was like race realism, like beliefs that he was just like having a chat with for like a long time, and sometimes I think just maybe people are like interested in like platforming their viewpoints.
Yeah, I'm a free speech advocate personally. I think that, especially in these kind of scenarios, which it's understood that we're talking about things and there will be a recourse back. I don't think that it goes as fair that you can go get a megaphone and just yell at people, or like absolutely be carnage to other people's lives. But I think in a forum kind of situation, I think it's important that these kind of things get addressed, so to speak, because I mean, people believe it, people think it, people actually make actionable decisions based on these beliefs, and I think it's if they feel as though every time it comes up that they're being told to hush, they're going to run into the conspiratorial mindset versus, at least for me, like I don't think everybody wants to battle everybody in that way, but it gives me dopamine, so maybe I'm the person for it.
My ethic about it is that, like, similar to what Two was saying, is that, like, I have discussions all the time about, like, all sorts of subjects, whether it's, like, pornography, gun control, LGBTQ, the race realism stuff comes up, because I do, like, an AMA stuff where sometimes these guys come in, and instead of just, like, shutting it down, I put the spotlight on him, because I genuinely believe that, like Two was saying, if you let these guys fester, they will find a hole where they have 10, 20, 30, 100 guys that agree with them and will bounce back off of them and will affirm them in that belief. And just like he was saying, if everywhere they go in life they're shut down and rejected and pushed back into the hole, then they're going to stop looking pretty when they come out. So, we need to stop, like, and this isn't just limited to, like, the race realism stuff. Like, we see this all the time with, like, political discussions, like, group mentality, tribalism, like, what's socially acceptable or politically acceptable to talk about can all change. Like, the Overton window can shift overnight, and it's not really up to individuals. So, if we're afraid of conversations, and there is such a thing as, like, a mind virus or a dangerous idea, then, like, we need to take a medical approach and inoculate people.
I hear you. I guess for me, like, I just think so long as there's ample challenge to the ideas, like if it's a harmful idea, we can be polite about it and stuff, and maybe we can talk about maybe pretty much anything, but so long as it's a challenged idea.
Well, yeah, just in my instance, because the whole reason it got brought up was, like, the guy accused me of being a human trafficker because I have a Hispanic wife. So, like,
oh my gosh,
I don't fit their bill. Like, I'm a white guy with a Hispanic wife and mixed kids. So, like, obviously, like, there's no risk of me falling into their ideology. But, like, I ask these guys, like, my tactic is, like, what do you do with me? Say you get in power, you win, all your guys are in charge. What happens to me, just straight up? And you find that more often than not, a lot of these guys just straight up don't get that far. When they're challenged in a real conversation, they wish and wash, and they talk about, like, grandfathering people in, and like AJ, or not AJ, but Crit was saying, they go back to this whole, like, well, it used to be illegal, we can just make it illegal again, that kind of thing. So, like, you find that, like, they don't really have, like, these developed ideas, and a lot of these guys, especially with the race realism stuff, are younger, disaffected men who don't really have a group to belong to, so they default to the easiest thing, which is their race. And once you challenge them and treat them like an equal and give them like a modicum of respect, like, not just roll over and accept everything that they say, but, like, grapple with them, I feel like you can actually avert a lot of that, those dangerous ideas from taking root because you give them something to actually think about that's counter to that reality. I personally placed a lot of faith in like the average person that like when whoever they are starts spouting off with like extremist violent rhetoric that like the deal has already been sealed, they've been exposed as a crazy person, and like whoever sees the interview or whatever is going to be able to flag them, and their ideas or whatever are going to be connected to that. I genuinely believe that like the average person just isn't motivated by this like malicious like need to conform everyone to their ideology, like whatever it is.